Okay. It's been a week, and we are back at it. And I don't really remember what I was doing, but that's okay. Yep, that's okay. Let me see. I have the Amulet of Misty Step. I was going to trade that out for the Parapet of Wound Closure. Feeling like that's better. Got my 2 throwing characters. Unfortunately, we lost the sparkly points. So we're just chucking axes now. And that's working fine. And we are about to go confront the Gith Yankee. Okay, that's what I remember. Alright. Generally speaking, I think it's worthwhile to open all of the little collapsed burrows and bags and crates. I don't always do that, but I think it's worth it. I think the game can randomly assign good items to those places, so that could be a good thing. Looks like I am out of inspiration points right now. And Furin failed, but Karlak succeeded. So off we go. Gotta wait a minute so we can clean ourselves up. Looks like I don't have any kind of soap on Karlak. That's interesting. I actually do. Just didn't have it on the action bar, that's all. Okay. This is a little, any of these platforms that move, like the elevators and this thing, can be really annoying when you have a 4-person party. Because a lot of times you'll see one of your party members will just not be on the platform when you tell it to move, and then they won't go with you. And moving your party members around, like if you select a different party member, you know, to say, oh, you look like you're not quite on the platform, or you're definitely not on the platform, so I'm gonna press F4 or something and move you in. When you do that, then other members of your party a lot of times will just walk off the platform, you know, to readjust themselves to the diamond shape configuration or whatever it is that they are set to do. It can be really irritating. A lot of times, if you have a bigger party and you're having trouble with it, it's better to separate the party members and have them individually get on the platform. It's obnoxious, but it's just part of the... In a game that's very, very good in all other ways, there are some small things. And it's kind of... It's a bit of a shoulder shrug. You know, whatever. Hey, there were some herbalism ingredients in there. It's nice.
What's inside?
In general, I like Baldur's Gate 3's approach to herbalism. I think it's a little simplistic. Like, if I had players at the table who told me, well, I want to be an herbalist or I want to make potions, I would think that that person was looking for something a little more complex than just collect 3 and carry on. But in terms of a video game, I think this is a entirely appropriate structure to the whole idea. All right. So the thing with this fight is there's just a lot of Grimishkas. So it's kind of good in that way that I jump in with Furin first, because he's more likely to... Nice. He's more likely to not get hit, whereas Karlak is more likely to get hit. It's going to take a few rounds to get through this. I only have 2 attacks per character per round. If you position yourself well, a lot of times you get, like I did, you get a whole free round. Where enemies are dashing. Oh, I didn't realize there was one out there. That's my mistake. Go ahead and try to punt them. That didn't work. That uses up my bonus action, so I won't be jumping in this round, which is okay. That was kind of a weak... It's kind of a weak throw. Hopefully we don't do a ton of using double actions to kill. I think if we try to throw the Grimishkas, we may fall into that, so... There we go. Furin's doing a little better than Karlak on the damage. So that's 2 down. 5 to go. Can't count. That guy's gonna go out and attack Karlak. We don't want to use magic because that makes him stronger. We'll just take the damage. $26 is our highest potential armor. Not terrible, not great. Let's see if we can get rid of this guy. There we go. Bye-bye. You are the weakest link. But I can't get over there now. Because I used my bonus action. And because it's an opening, of course. I can't throw my pike in there. Oh, well, maybe I can. Hit this guy. Didn't kill him, but we hit him. So that's something. See if we can kill him. These are the kinds of scenarios where like an elixir of bloodlust is incredibly useful. But I believe well, I have 3 of them. I'm not going to do it at this point. I can heal myself a little bit. 2 more to go. Get Karlak in. She's taking a little damage. She's had some moments. I've had some moments with the Path of Giants Barbarian where it's been highly effective. And then some moments where I think one of the things that's going to cause the Eldritch Knight to pull ahead damage-wise is the Illithid skill, where it executes people. Excuse me, I'm very tired today. Very difficult time getting up and at 'em.
How much farther can I go?
Got a lot of spell slot restoration. That's good. I don't particularly need it right now, but it's good to have it. I can't remember the name. Cull the Weak. Cull the Weak, very powerful ability. Big reason why Furin's gonna probably pull away and damage, because he's gonna passively do just a ton of extra damage. Anytime somebody's low, he's gonna execute them, and that's gonna work out to be a lot of damage over the course of the whole game. This little bit here, I like to take this path. I like to clear the outside of the monastery and then go in and clear the inside. If you find yourself where I am now, when you're running a low strength team, this is going to be irritating because they probably won't be able to jump up like that. So it's good to have somebody who can cast jump. That's of benefit. Let me see. I don't have any casts of jump, and I don't have any casts of long strider. Long strider, I think, is obviously way more important in the long term. He's an Eldritch Knight. Furin is. I'll keep this fire shield. That might come in handy. Furin is an Eldritch Knight, which means I will learn spells as I level up. How close am I to leveling up? Not too bad. It'll be a bit. So my thinking is probably the next time I level up, I'm going to be looking to get Longstrider if I can. Maybe even trade in one of my old spells for it. Now, I could be wrong, but I do think that distance matters on the throwing mechanic. So I don't want to get too close.
Don't be shy.
Gonna go ahead and open this fight with Karlach.
1, 2.
It's a good hit. So one of the things about the Path of Giants Barbarians is you need to rage to get access to one of your damage modifiers. But anytime you multi-class a barbarian, you're going to miss out on a bunch of rage charges. Or, excuse me. Which is pretty rough, to be honest. It's one of the reasons why, I don't know how it is for other people, but at least for myself, it's one of the reasons why I find it very difficult to multi-class with Barbarian.
Ready for another round?
Because the thing with a Barbarian is, once you're out of rage, you know, you lose so much of the Barbarian kit as a result. Alright, so they're going to call in for friends. If you are able to defeat the eagle within 2 rounds, you're probably not in danger
Easy as.
of their friends showing up. However, after this round, if that eagle is still alive, definitely going to encounter some eagle friends. Which is fine. Actually, probably preferable to fight more eagles, because you get more eagle feathers, which means more potions of flying. Potions of flying are incredibly useful. I didn't make it to more. And I do think, to some degree, there is an experience gain benefit, you know, to doing more as opposed to less enemies. I don't think it's huge, but I think it's there. There's somebody who recently pointed out that even though the experience gains are pretty small individually, it adds up significantly over the course of the game. And I think that's true. Like, you can apparently you can get to like level 9 before the end of this act. Now obviously I'm not gonna do that. I'm level 6 right now. I don't think that there's 3 levels of experience. You know, I'd like to get to level 7 before the end of Act 1. But just to make note, you can get to level 9 before the end of Act 1. You can get to level 11 before the end of Act 2, which is crazy. So, I mean, I have my technique that I use to go through the acts. I'm pretty happy with it overall. But yeah, there are better ways to do this. Okay, I'm not hurting the wall in any way. How did I overcome this before? I think what I did was I just punched the wall because big strong.
Try me.
Yep. Can't throw an axe at it, but I can certainly punch it. And because it stayed in my inventory, I don't lose my Eldritch Bond. Alright, so there's a Guardian of Faith in this room that is guarding the ceremonial battle axe. Not a big deal. Not a big thing.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times. Good idea.
You just want to not be in the Guardian of Faith's circle. You're going to miss a lot. It has very high armor. Did I get it back? Oh yeah, I did. Okay. Could have just looked. But you will hit, and as long as you're outside of the circle, it can't do anything to you. So this can take a few rounds if you get unlucky with your misses, which I don't know that I would call this unlucky. I mean, I've hit twice now. And then on his turn, he just sits there.
First step is the hardest.
And boop. Furin just bopped him. Okay. Haven't searched the cabinet. Nothing in there anyway. And then we'll pick up the ceremonial battle axe. Okay. I don't need this, but I'm going to hang on to it. Generally, the items that are a part of builds that I've enjoyed, I tend to hang on to. I don't think there's any good reason for doing it, but I just do it. I have that. I have the urge to do it. Also, some of the scrolls, like Scroll of Glyph of Warding and Scroll of Chromatic Orb, it's important to note that you cannot use the scroll unless you put it on your action bar like this, or at least I think you cannot. And the reason, what prevents you is when you use this scroll, a little interface needs to pop up to ask you what type of damage you want to deal with the scroll. And if you haven't used it from your action bar for some reason, at least in my game, that little menu doesn't pop up. And so if the menu doesn't pop up, you can't finish casting the scroll. Okay. Got a mace. Oh, excuse me. There is a ceremonial mace that is a +1, like these other ones. You don't need to find it. And I think canonically, the one that's buried with the, you know, bishop or whatever runs the monastery, head monk, the monk manager. I don't know what he's called, brother something. Canonically, it was buried with him, so that's all. I think it goes axe, mace. Yep, warhammer. I've done this, you know, more than 27 times. 27's the number that I've recorded, and I still, like, I just don't remember it. I mean, I guess apparently I did remember it, but generally speaking, I fail more often than not. If you put the wrong item on the pedestal, then it knocks you down, you know, sort of like reaches out and slaps you hard from beyond. There is also a scroll of Revivify up here. Scrolls of Revivify are pretty useful. I oftentimes will skip it because there's a lockpick mechanic. I don't have a huge amount of bonuses. I have enough. I'm not gonna take levels in anything other than fighter. I managed to remember to say fighter instead of warrior. Amazing. Alright, and there is a whole portion of the monastery that I generally skip and don't see. All of this underneath here. I don't go there typically. I loop around this side, and I go in the back door to the Gith Yankee. Good hit. Did that just do 44 damage? Or did I just see the numbers wrong? 44 damage seems too high. Like, I don't think I do that kind of damage. At least not yet. (18 strength). Hold up. I am level 6? Huh. Okay, so I did just level up not too long ago. Okay. So there's a few things you should know, I guess, about some of the baked in class benefits. Yeah. So like I would consider alert to be a pretty essential feat for most builds. Benefit a lot from alert. Basically, the idea here is, in this game, there are very, very powerful enemies who can do a lot. Like, they can lock you down. They can do extreme damage. They can kill you in one round. And you, in fact, can be very powerful. You do a lot of the same stuff to your enemies. Why don't we take you and send you down there? There we go. Could have potentially killed them both, but whatever. That was more fun.
Good idea, Carla.
So the reason why alert then is so important is that you see Karlach here at the end of the entire initiative chain, like all of these enemies get a chance to do something to her before she can respond in any way. Whereas Furin here at the head, he has a chance to pick and choose a couple enemies to deal with. Potentially by just straight up killing them before the action really begins in earnest, before he has to take any damage. And if he manages it well, he can really reduce the amount of damage he's going to take or eliminate it entirely. You know, he can force enemies to do this where they have to dash up to him to accomplish anything. Excuse me. And so you can see in this, like, he's bought 2 rounds where he's gotten attacked. Well, this is the 3rd time he's gotten attacked. It's not a ton. So he's created this distance between himself and his enemies that allows him to take less damage overall, which is very important. So that's the reason why alert is probably one of the best feats in the game. And it feels pretty good to take it on a fighter, because fighters get a level 6 feat, so they get an extra feat thrown in there. I would not, however, take alert on a barbarian, because barbarians have a built-in feral instinct, is what it's called, and Karlach's going to get it next level. Barbarians have essentially built-in alert. They can't be surprised. Alert gives you a +5 to your initiative, where feral instinct only gives you +3. So it's not quite as good, but it's very good. So you could have feral instinct and alert, and you would receive benefit from having both. Excuse me. Obviously, duplicating the cannot be surprised mechanic doesn't really do anything for you, but you would get a massive boost to your initiative. Like you'd get the +8 to your initiative, which is pretty great. But I'm not so worried about the initiative boost. Maybe I should be. Again, she's consistently the lowest priority character. So she consistently acts last in combat, which is not, obviously not ideal. Oh, I didn't wait for him to get his axe back, so we'll probably have to go find it now. We'll get our axe before we forget. As with containers, I think that there is some degree of randomness to loot tables on corpses. I could be totally wrong about that. Some corpses have set loot tables for sure. Like you always get a certain item or set of items from them, particularly bosses. I think there's some randomness to what you get from kobolds. And I would say always kill the kobolds. They are worth a lot of experience overall. And there's really no downside to doing it. It's not going to negatively affect your run. Other than the time it takes to do it, it's not going to negatively affect your run. Let's see, we got a visibility potion. Get rid of these. That to her. I'm not collecting throwing items because I have the bound weapons, so I don't necessarily need them. And then there's even some kobolds who are hiding in these barrels, so we'll get rid of them too. See, same story again. Furin goes, then the kobold, then Karlach. So, if it hadn't have been for Furin there, Karlach would have definitely taken some damage. And just taking damage adds up over time. Stop that. Goodness. Why? It's like insisting that I'm going to pick that thing up. I'm not. I'm not going to do that. Stop it. Path is interrupted. Okay, that's freaking obnoxious. He's just standing right there. I really don't enjoy wasting all that time. But whatever. Okay, gonna have to take a hit. Didn't wait again, so gonna have to pick up my axe again. Get out of here. So the random loot tables are not really gonna have anything, like, even on the best version of what they have, it's not gonna be anything great. But money's money, right?
Maybe I should. No, this is good.
Gonna come back to me? Yeah. Get some wine or some grease bottles.
What's in here?
think that's it. I don't think there's any more kobolds in here. You want to kill them all? They're worth not an insignificant amount of experience. We were at 2,000. We're now at 1,000. So not too shabby. All right, and then the way I take would be to go down this hill here, or crag, rocky face. Now, this part used to be a little glitchy, at least in my experience. What you would do is you would come down here, you'd climb down these vines, and you would come over here, and rather innocently, you'd think, okay, well, I'm just going to jump across. And then what your character would do is climb back up these vines all the way to the top and jump down and take like 50 damage and die. And it was a lot of times in this game when you commit, you say go, do an action. What ends up happening is you can't stop it once it's started, so you just kind of have to watch in despair and be like, well, I didn't want you to do that, no, and boof, they jump and get hurt, and it's terrible, but it is what it is. Alright, so this will be a roll, and kind of an important role. I want them to allow me into the creche. I want to do business with them. There are items I'd like to buy. I would like to do the creche in a particular order, run through it. And if I fail these throws, I'm not going to be able to do that. Is there one of these that has a higher charisma? Yes. Karlak has a higher charisma, so we'll lead with Karlak, see if she can pull this off. If not, then it's all fights from here.
Journey's over, Istik. It'll
Be swift. So you can do an intimidation. I get a +3. Persuasion, I get a +0. I think this one guarantees I get in. I'm gonna try it.
An illithid abomination will not step foot in this creche.
Okay. Gith Yankee do not have mercy. I lost my +3 and now it's a difficulty 21. This is bad. Things are bad. And I have no inspiration. Okay, well, bummer. I hate this version, but whatever. This is where we're at. This is how it is now. Honor mode. When you roll bad, you roll bad. Get used to it. I do enough damage, but we're going to start getting ads. That's going to kind of be the problem. Okay. She's going to knock her down and do like 90% of her health with 2 shots. Yeah, you're supposed to impose disadvantage, but you don't. Only 50%. Look at that. Look how lucky we are. I don't have any time to drink anything. So, I'm going to rage. Kind of a waste for 2 people, right? But it is what it is. See if we can get her down before she gets to act again. 19 damage isn't super, but it's something. Force her to attack Fear, and it won't matter. With the Gith Yankee, boom, she's dead. Okay, totally didn't need to rage. It was a waste of a rage charge. That's okay. I'll end up having to take an additional. Well, actually, let's just use our short rest because we know we're gonna have to take a long rest now, sooner than we would like. So, if I recall correctly, which I may or may not, But if I recall correctly, this means that everybody will be aggressive to us from here on in. Maybe not. Looks like Warrior Ithdal will talk to us. I don't really want to talk to Ithdal. I want to talk to Akajni, Jira, whatever. He's fine with us.
Seems simple enough.
Let's see what this looks like. Jackneer Jira.
Ugh, blood. I'd heard this plane was disgusting.
Okay, well, she's fine. Okay, well,
If your
yeah, I
paraphernalia
must have
had
misremembered it, I guess. Let's see. Do we actually need anything from her? I guess I'm wrong. Here I'm complaining about how I feel like I need all this stuff. This is a pike, so it's not meant to be thrown, so it probably does less damage. The Witchbreaker. Oh, that looks like fun. Not meant to be thrown, so we'll skip it. Just a Javelin +1. Not going to be better. No reason to spend our money on it. We could get some potions here. Wouldn't be a bad idea. How are we doing on money? 8,000? I think we could afford some potions, and we got some stuff to sell, so this is fine. That was a much less impactful failure than I thought. Yeah, maybe I will just stress less in the future. On your way then. Okay, so this is going to be legitimately difficult, this fight coming up.
Please.
People in the hallway can add on to the fight, which is obnoxious. And the captain, that woman, or Githyanki, I guess, she casts fear. And I don't currently have anything to prevent fear, so that's the part that could be obnoxious. But we are so close to leveling up. Let's just do it. Let me see how I got like 15 minutes left. Let's just make this happen. Because she casts fear, what I need to do is I need to position my people so that it is more difficult to cast fear on them. Basically, I'm going to want Karlak to rage for this fight, and I have one rage left. Let's get it going. This one is the most dangerous. She can do mind control, and control is particularly dangerous when you only have 2 people in your party. Okay, but she's down. So now the question is, do we want to get rid of the wolves or the lady who casts fear? Well, we can't get rid of the lady who casts fear. She has too much health. There's no way to get rid of her in one round. So that answers our question for us. We're going to get rid of the wolves. Now I'm super tempted to do like a bloodlust elixir to give myself 2 more attacks for the other wolf. I'm not going to, though. It'd generally be a waste. We're about to long rest, so we don't want to do that. So she's going to pick one of us, and she's going to make us afraid. Hopefully she picks Furin, because Furin can't drop his weapon. So even if he's afraid, he won't drop his weapon, because it is bound to him. And so that's good. Want to rage first. I always forget. Rage first because of the extra damage. And plus, we can add even more extra damage with Elemental Cleaver. And I think Elemental Cleaver also makes it so that she can't drop her weapon, so that's grand. She doesn't have any resistance to any particular kind of damage, so I could choose whatever I want. And when I could choose, I like lightning or thunder. So, lightning it is. I think fire is probably more effective against the dogs, so I probably should have gone with fire. That seemed like a lot. I don't know exactly what I did there, but a lot. Okay, so if I stand here, she's gonna like Misty Step here and fear both of us, which will be crazy and obnoxious. The dogs are down and nobody aggroed from the hallway. I'm gonna try to stand over here and hopefully that's created enough distance. Let's see what they do. She's gonna call in the guards, so they probably are about to show up. I haven't seen them add yet. There's the fear. I don't know. Like, it says I dropped my weapon, but I didn't. Because I can't. There's that stupid trip attack that they do, and of course he always hits. The one thing that I've noticed about the Gith Yankee, like the archers in particular, is they always hit. Like, it's not even a question. I've had upwards of 30 armor, and it doesn't, like, it never stops them from hitting you. They always hit you. Haven't really done anything to Therazin yet. But I think she can only fear one of us at a time. And I would like to get this source of damage off the board. We've got a a fighter coming in as well. I can't do anything with Furin, and it just kind of, I'm just kind of stuck here until I choose to end my turn without doing anything. This is different, I think, than regular. In my experience, at the table with D&D, if you're feared, you can still drink potions and you can still act. You just can't approach the thing that fears you. So this heavy control mechanic is very different. It's also obnoxious because for the enemy, it always works. But if you try to use fear, you're very unlikely for it to accomplish anything. So I don't know why Karlak is hurting so much. That doesn't necessarily make any sense to me. But let's see if we can get this guy down. If I can, I'll drink a potion. Otherwise, I'll be looking to do extra damage. Alright, so because Furin is feared, what the game is going to want to do is she's going to reposition and then try to fear both of us because of where he's at. I'm not 100% sure on the range of it. I don't know if there's anything I can do to stop it. I'm going to go ahead and close this door again. I don't think it costs them anything to come through it. I just like it, you know. Thematically, it's better. And then she gets advantage on all of her attacks, so she just gets to deal damage to him. And he still hasn't broken the fear, so I'm just 100% controlled for this fight. Nothing I can do. So you got another
Incoming.
ranged person here. Path interrupted, of course. See if we close the stupid door, if we can get the path interrupted to go away. There we go. We'll deal with this one. Okay. That helps. Can't get to her, and I can't throw anything at her, so I'm just going to go ahead and drink another potion. Hope for the best. He used his action to cast jump. That's grand. There, now she's going to do fear again. And I saved because I'm a barbarian. Long live the barbarian. Okay, so now I have my full party back in play. First thing I want to do with Furin is move him away from Death's Door. And then I think we want to deal with the warrior first. Warrior. It's the warrior. Yerk. Yeah, Yerk. Deal with him. Bop bop. Still have the fear mechanic to worry about. Kind of out of movement though, so let's see if we can boot her away. Fantastic. Get rid of the always want to get rid of the disadvantage if you can. Miss. Okay. Sure. The occasional miss. Ooh, nice. Not 36 damage, but he's not looking so good. I'm going to continue to use try to use spacing to reduce damage taken. He had cast jump on himself, so a little disarming attack shouldn't work because of elemental cleaver. Could start burning resources because I'm anticipating using a rest here. So these aren't going to be big hits because she's right next to me. But we'll just start trying to put some damage into Githrak Therazin. Yeah, that's not too bad. She might not have any more casts of fear. I'm not sure. Or she might just be waiting another round. Like, she might have to. Oh, he's dead. Fantastic. Can I hurt her? No.
Covered.
So this lines us up for a fear cast. A potentially deadly fear cast. Ooh, I like that. Nice critical hit. Not paying as much attention to the amount of damage. And she's down, so I didn't even have to worry about lining everybody up. And she got her pike back. Okay. Now this doesn't really bother the rest of the people in the creche. They're indifferent to the fact that we just killed their leader. And she got the level up, but Furin did not get a level up. So that's disappointing. Can't, of course, take a long rest inside this room. This is a hostile area now because we killed someone in here. So the way it works is like if a Githyanki wanders into this room, we will fight. But the minute we step outside of this room, they could be looking in this room and see all of their murdered friends, and they don't care at all. That's how the Githyanki mechanically operate. All right. What do we got here? 111 experience. We'll definitely get it on the next fights. Let's go ahead and level up Karlak. We'll get her that the Feral Instinct. +3 initiative. Can't be surprised. Fantastic. She needs that. She's last on the list every time. Let's fix that. I'm ready to hide this helmet too. And then also quite a lot of weight in these crossbows. So, and the greatsword. So let's head over here to a Jaknir Jira, and we'll go ahead and say, hey, I have your Githrak's weapon. You want to buy it from me? Great. And I will also buy some more of these health potions. Health potions, very useful. Knife of the Undermountain King. If you are trying to build a critical strike-based character, this can be an essential buy because it has the reduce the number you need to roll a critical hit while attacking by 1. And it is my understanding that that works, even if you're not attacking with the knife specifically. So if you're doing like a ranged build and you want to lower your crit, you can equip this and it will do it for you. And unlike some of the items some of the other items that do this, this works in your main hand or your offhand. So it is expensive to get, but if you're thinking about doing a crit build, or you're thinking about, I want to increase the likelihood of getting a crit at all, this is a good buy. The only time I don't buy it is when, like in this run, I specifically have no intention of using it. I would not equip it on either of my characters. Or nope, that's it. If I know if I know that I would not equip it, then yeah, why waste the money, right? You don't need to have it. And then she also sells the gloves of dexterity. This is the place where you get those. They are another one of the items that just sets your dexterity at a score. They set it at 18. So one of the things I've done with this is, let's say you're building a ranger who bows require dexterity. That's what they build damage off of. But for whatever reason, the ranger that you're building, you don't really want to invest any points in dexterity. What you can do here in Act 1 is you can build your ranger in like a normal way, all the way up until you get to this merchant. And then you can get these gloves and then you just go back to Withers and respec your character, just dump dexterity entirely, go all the way down to 8, and use those points for something else. And then these gloves will just set your dexterity at 18. If your dexterity is at 16, and you don't care about the gloves that you're wearing, these, you can use them to give yourself 2 extra dexterity. But then, you know, like when you level up, if you're planning to use an ASI to get up to 18 anyway, then these gloves kind of become a waste. They're not actually a waste overall. They have the attack +1, which is a redeeming quality. But there's just better gloves later in the game. These are certainly solid for most of the game. If you are running a Gith Yankee character, probably Lizelle, right? Or you made a Gith Yankee, this sword is amazing. It is outclassed by the legendary version, of course, but this is pretty close. It's a great sword. And it has an action that refreshes every time you long rest. It has a special attack that does a ton of damage and stuns people. So this is great. I mean, even if you don't have a Gith Yankee, this is a wonderful weapon. If you're still running Everburn Blade at this point in the game, this is an upgrade. It's not going to be an upgrade in straight damage if you're not a Gith Yankee. If you are a Gith Yankee, it's just straight across the board an upgrade. If you're not a Gith Yankee, it's still an upgrade. It can do less damage, but the added benefits like the bonus to initiative, the bonus to attack rolls, and the custom weapon attack are all amazing and worth using. I've never really used this pike. Its thing is that it's invisible. I don't know why that's useful. If you are playing a spellcaster and you are struggling with enemies being right next to you and giving you disadvantage on your spell attack rolls, these are the gloves for you. Not only do they give you a +1 to your spell attack rolls, but also they have a passive that just eliminates disadvantage when somebody's right next to you. So these are pretty incredible gloves for that. These are just, you know, your basic, if you don't have any boots yet, these will give you a small buff that is nice. I have used the Defender Flail when I shouldn't. On my other Honor Mode run, I was using it on my Ranger Knight, who is a dexterity-based build, so you don't get any of the damage benefits from running a flail, but I was using it just for the armor class bonus, which is good. This is the point in the game where you're going to start to see arrow of many targets if you have a ranged character in your party. Somebody using a bow or a crossbow or a hand crossbow, these things are amazing. You know, like, it's such a huge boost in the game when your fighter gets extra attack and you're able to hit one thing and then hit another with the same action. This hits 4 things with a single action. Plus, Rangers in particular are a martial class, so they also get extra attack. So if you have a bunch of these, you can hit eight of your enemies every round, and they can hit the same enemy twice. You have no control over that, but it can happen. Now, if you fire one of these and there's 2 enemies, I've never seen it bounce and then bounce back and then bounce back. I've never seen that happen. I'm not saying it doesn't. I don't know. But I have, in like a group of 3 enemies, seen it bounce and then bounce back and then go to the other one. It doesn't matter. Even if you're hitting only 2 enemies, it's still very much worthwhile. If you have the money for it, I would pick up every arrow of many targets that you ever encounter. And there's not a ton of them that you do, but you can get enough that you can use them pretty consistently. Arrow of Transposition allows a ranged character to use their action to basically Misty Step. It's not as good as Misty Step, but it moves you around. Any of these kinds of arrows, and they come in several varieties. This is Undead Slaying, this is Monstrosity, Fiend, Elemental. If you're against this creature type, this arrow does twice as much damage. I mean, that's just what it says. This is very effective. This is incredible. It's better than everything here for single target. Like, if you're against an elemental and it's the only thing in the room, this is better than an arrow of many targets. It's better than any of these damage arrows. It's better than the arrow of Ilmater. This is the best arrow for you to use against that elemental. Now, obviously, these are very situational. And some of the types are pretty rare. Like Humanoid Slaying is rare. Aberration Slaying is rare. Dragon Slaying is rare. But I do... like, there's going to be a lot of spots in the game where you're fighting fiends. So Fiend Slaying, very useful. Not as many where you're fighting elementals, but there are times you're fighting elementals. So these will be useful. Not a ton of monstrosities, but again, it's something that happens. Not as high of a priority. There's a ton of undead in the game, so that's good. Arrow of Ilmater, very useful, specifically when you need an enemy not to heal. This will prevent that. So that's kind of huge. All of these +1 weapons are really just use if you don't have anything else. Did I sell my Amulet of Misty Step? Well, what's done is done, I guess. So we're going to stick with the Parapet of Wound Closure. Not what I wanted at first, but hey, whatever. It's fine. One last comment, I guess, because I'm a little over my time. Larethian's Wrath is the only other finesse longsword in the game that I'm aware of. So you have Falar Aluv, which is so good. Finesse longsword. And then Larethian's Wrath is another one. It's not as good as Falar Aluv. These bonuses, like the 1d4 Radiant, is only because I'm in the Mountain Pass, in the monastery. The 2 Acid is because of the ring. So it's just a straight longsword. So it's really an offhand weapon. And it gives this custom attack, which is pretty nice. So basically, what's the range? 4 meters? 4 meters, so 12 feet. So it's like a 10-foot, attack. 10 foot around you. And you only do it once every short rest. It's not as powerful as like the stunning thing on the great sword or anything like that, but it's nice. It's a nice, like, oh, I'm surrounded by enemies, I'll bop them all. But most importantly, if you are running a dexterity based dual wielding character, which, I mean, obviously that's pretty rare in and of itself. If you're running a dexterity-based dual wielder, longswords are easily the best weapons you can equip. And this is the only, like in the whole game, there's only 2 longswords that are dexterity-based. This one and Falar Aluv. So those are your go-to weapons. So that was a lot of words to say some pretty simple stuff. But there you go.
Clean items only.
That's what's at a Jack near. And those things are consistently at this merchant. All right, I'm out of time. We did not, like in my mind, I was like, all right, we're going to clear out the whole crash. I can do it so quickly. We didn't get there.